The spring semester is in full swing as basketball conference play heats up and men's tennis starts their spring season. This action and more on this week's episode of Capital City Sports. Welcome back, everyone. Thank you for tuning in to this week's episode of Capital City Sports. I'm your host, Ben Parsons. SEC play has started and the Gamecocks have been dominating. The men's basketball team is 4-0 and has earned themselves a number 24 ranking in the nation, prior to facing number 19 Florida. Nia Green has the coverage from this top 25 SEC matchup.
Starting lineup for the Gamecocks are seniors Cindarius Thornwell and Dwayne Otis, as well as sophomores Chris Silva, PJ Dozier, and freshman Mike Kotsar. In this matchup of two top 25 teams, both were scoreless in the first 5 minutes as the defensive abilities of both teams were on the forefront. Coming off the bench for the Gamecocks was freshman guard and New York native Rakim Felder, who set the tone early on with 2 incredible threes. Playing in front of a very loud and energetic crowd, the Gamecocks definitely felt a sense of Gamecock pride inside of Colonial Life Arena. After a hard-fought first half, the Gamecocks came back with an incredible defensive push in the second, led by Dwayne Otis and Chris Silva. Cindarius Thornwell also contributed at the free throw line with 2 shots. With crowd as well as student support, the Gamecocks were able to come back from a slow-scoring start to a 57-53 victory and a 5-0 record in the SEC with a 15-3 overall record. Tonight's top 25 matchup, the University of South Carolina Gamecocks took on the University of Florida Gators in a fight to the finish. Senior guard Cindarius Thornwell put up 20 points, while Chris Silva, a sophomore, put up 11. Freshman guard Rakim Felder also contributed to the Gamecocks with 7 points. The Gamecocks will hit the road next week, taking on the University of Kentucky Wildcats. For Capital City Sports, I'm Nia Simone.
The women's team has also started conference play strong as they're 5-0 in the SEC. They face Ole Miss Thursday night as they look for their 10th straight win. Austin Porter was at Colonial Life Arena.
Your Gamecocks are on fire with a 9-win streak, and they're 5-0 in the SEC Conference. They hope to make it 6-0 with a win against Ole Miss. The odds are in their favor as Ole Miss has not won an SEC game on the road. Let's see if the Gamecocks can get it done tonight. With a 15-1 overall record, Lady Gamecocks are feeling cool, calm, and collected entering this matchup versus the Ole Miss Rebels. Size advantage was definitely in Carolina's favor as they would win the tip-off, followed by this easy bucket by forward Asia Wilson. Ole Miss quickly answered back with this on-point jumper by Shadrika Sessom. Forward Taylor Manuel connects with 2 of her teammates to help keep the score close. However, the Gamecocks' defense and transition offense was too much for the Rebels. South Carolina would have 12 total offensive rebounds, including this one, which would lead to the bucket by Alicia Gray. Gamecocks were up 37-22 at half. The Rebels continued to fight, however, in the second half as Emmanuel pulls off this nice spin move. The Rebels continued to attack the basket, but the Gamecocks always came back with buckets of their own. In the end, the Gamecocks were too much for the Rebels to handle, and here's what Ole Miss coach Matt Insell had to say about his team's performance and Gamecocks star player Elena Coates.
The stat line that just blares out is we had 9 uncontested layups throughout that game. That's 18 points that we gave up on just missing layups, and then go 6 of 14 from the free throw line. You're not beating a top 5 team doing that, especially when you got Elena Coates. I told Dawn after the game in the shake hand line, I said, you got a great team, and I'm glad I don't have to play Coates anymore. That's 4 years of just misery having to prepare to play her.
Colonial Life Arena was electrifying tonight as the Gamecocks roll over Ole Miss 65-46. Elena Coates led the Gamecocks with 15 points and 15 rebounds. The Gamecocks are now 6-0 in the SEC record, and they hope to make it 7-0 against Mississippi State on Monday night. From Capital City Sports, I'm Austin Porter.
The men's tennis is back in action for the spring after a strong fall. They opened against the Citadel in a doubleheader on Friday. Emma Milner has more.
Gamecock tennis is back, and after a successful fall campaign, all eyes are on them. For their first match of the season, they took on the Citadel Bulldogs at the Carolina Tennis Center. Let's take a look at how the Gamecocks did today. Head coach Josh Goffey wanted to compete against the Bulldogs right out of the gate because he knew that they train and play hard. While they may have done both, they were no match for the Gamecocks, specifically Gabriel Frederick. Frederick dominated as the #1 player for South Carolina in both doubles and singles, carrying the Gamecocks to a 7-0 victory. Him and doubles partner Roy Hobson absolutely beat down Matthew Henson and Alex Fennell to start the match, winning their set 6-1. Frederick went on to compete in the singles matchup, taking on the Citadel's Matthew Henson. Frederick, who enters the season ranked 76th in the nation, commanded the court once again, winning his first set 6-1 and his second 6-0. Defeating the Citadel 7-0, the Gamecocks will now take their 1-0 record to New Hampshire on the 28th to take on Dartmouth. For Capital City Sports, I'm Emma Milner.
That's it for this week's episode of Capital City Sports. Thanks for watching. Be sure to follow us on Twitter at CCS on SGTV to keep up with all things Gamecock athletics. I'm Ben Parsons, and we'll see you next week.